Hi, this is Jordan from L4DNAO.com, and I'm interviewing Xanath from Reason Gaming. Xanath, can you give us a little introduction?
Hi, boys and girls.
My name is Ken Xanath Johnson, and I am the captain slash scapegoat slash cheerleader slash raving Nazi of Reason Gaming Left 4 Dead.
Well, Xanath, can you tell me how your team has started and your gaming history?
My gaming history, we don't want to be here for the next half hour. Suffice it to say I've been playing competitive level since my first contract at age 14, playing Rainbow Six. Oh yeah! So far as the team goes, we've pretty much picked everyone up as we've gone along in Left 4 Dead. I started with a whole bunch of friends, and at first we weren't going to make anything serious out of it. It was just, hey, you know, this game's halfway decent, might be worth playing on the weekends, and come to find out, we didn't like losing, which of course meant playing a whole lot more than we ever expected to. The only person who's pretty much been with me from day one has been Socratic. Mike we picked up from a team who didn't think he was good enough to be a starter, and Josh pretty similar. Our current backup player, Jake, or J-Bob, came from Infamy Gaming, and it wasn't a bitter divorce, but it wasn't a good fit for him, and he fits in well with us here.
What initially attracted you about Left 4 Dead and made you keep playing?
To be honest with you, I didn't plan to touch it with a 10-foot pole. It looked like another garbage mod game gone retail. And then they put out a demo. The rest is history. I played the holy crap out of the demo, and it just seemed like it was a very different game. There was a whole lot of teamwork and individual skill, but more so the teamwork, and that's what drew me to it. And it's just one of those games where you have a bad game and you go into one of those fits of rage, but you can't stand to log off because you got to go avenge yourself. And yeah, I put way too many hours into this crap.
What leagues, aside from the CEVO tournament, has Reason been involved in, and how did those start off and go?
Well, we started off in a little league called UGC, which, no offense to the admins, but it was freaking awful. We did pretty well on there, unbelievably. And that's when we really decided, you know what, we really could make something out of this. So, started with a couple roster revisions, set a practice schedule, all that good stuff, decided we wanted to go into Cal. And of course, everyone knows what happened with Cal. We competed in the Infected Cup 1, and it was pretty funny going into that, because we really had no idea how we would measure up against some of these top big-name teams at the time. And what do you know, we won the whole show. Then we got all high and mighty and full of ourselves, and the game changed, and we failed to adapt around it. We had a couple not-so-great showings in future tournaments. I mean, yeah, we came in second on Infected Cup 2, but our bracket was so much of a cakewalk that if we hadn't, I would have probably slit my wrists. Besides that, we've competed in the EVGA tournament, ladder, which, of course, we all know what happened to that as well. But now... CEVO is just going to be the end-all, be-all, and I would like to see it go beyond that, but for now, we've got CEVO, and CEVO is good.
What are your thoughts on the usage and creation of the CEVO config?
Well, the CEVO config really doesn't differ from the Cal config in any way, shape, or form with one exception, and that is the change to medkit conversion. And to be honest, it is the single biggest, most beautiful change to competitive L4D since the game's inception. It completely redefines the way the game has been played, and now instead of 190 plus being the standard and a 10 to 15 point separation between teams in any given level, now there's hundreds of points of separation between teams on most levels, and it's just beautiful that a 190 is the exception to the rule.
I heard a lot of people talk about the scoring system and how it should be revised. Any thoughts on that?
Absolutely. I had a thread going on the Steam forums for a while that generated a whole lot of angsty, emo, teen nerd pub rage. And what this thread consisted of was a match that we had, I think it was ladder, I don't remember, wherein 3 people on the opposing team had scores of 0, and 1 had a score of 14. Our total damage taken was somewhere around 6. And we finished with... I want to say like a 193, 194, somewhere in there. We like to shoot each other, and there we're common. And then that same team played their Survivor round, got ass raped, limped into the safe room with like 2 or 3 players black and white, Although this was prior to CEVO config, so they found something to the tune of 85 medkits along the way. And still finished with, I don't remember what it was, but it was a pretty high health bonus, like 150, 160. And their score was somewhere within like 100 of us. And it really just doesn't seem fair to me that a team can get raffle stomped for the entirety of the game, but because the mechanics don't allow us to finish them, they're still able to walk into the safe room and score within the same ballpark as us. When we flew through that map and weren't even touched, we finished that map in record time. And, of course, all the puppies said, well, you need to learn how to play, and you need better strats, and you need to separate one of the survivors and isolate and kill that, blah, 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 blah. No comprehension that this is top team versus top team. We outplayed the holy bejesus out of them because we brought some strats that they had no idea what to do about. And then the next round, we're just curb stomping and taking it to them every step of the way. But because we were not able to get the finish, and they were able to limp into the safe room with next to nothing, they still score in the same time zone as us. I'm sorry, but that's just not acceptable.
What are your thoughts, such as in Blood Harvest 1, where you'll have 2 pipe bombs and a set of pills, and the tank spawns before the bridge, and then it's the other team's turn to play, and they'll have 3 Molotovs?
Yes, it's absolutely game-changing. Whether you're on BH1 and get the tank before the bridge with nothing but your wiener in your hand to deal with him, or you're on BH5 and one team gets 4 mollies upstairs and 4 pipes out in the barn and 37 sets of pills along the way, and your team goes in and gets next to nothing. It's completely random, and while random can be a good, fun, energizing, oh my gooses, never know what you're going to get, Christmas Day kind of thing, there's also the teams like mine who always get the lump of coal. And it's very unfortunate that games and sometimes entire matches can be defined by this random factor. Obviously, I don't advocate standardizing everything. That would take the fun out of it. There would be no need to check where things could be spawned, explore, take a detour, etc. if you could fly through the map in free spec and know exactly where everything was every time, or if it was the exact same for both teams. But I definitely think there should be some standardization to the point of where if one team gets a molly before tank, the next team gets a, not 4, molly before tank.
Yeah, you don't want to take out the desire to go and let's look in this corner off in the distance real quick, just in case there's that extra molly we need. Which brings up the idea of death toll and how on 4 it has been nerfed horribly with all the rooftops just blocked off, and for any fun screamy emos, as you like to call them, from flying around and doing their thing.
Oh my gooses, man, the screamy emos, they can't get up there and do their thing. Yeah! Yeah! I could try to do the horizontal humpy jumpy, and I just get shot down. Yeah! I do believe that map has been spayed, neutered, and basically just had its junk cut off. That map is not a whole lot of fun.
As a matter of fact, the 4th map in any series is pretty much get your Nikes on, have a nice run for 3 or 5 minutes, and you're done deal. What a coincidence that's also one of my biggest grievances with the scoring system. Why is it the most difficult map in the game, BH1, has a 1.0 modifier, while the easiest, NM4, DT4, etc., have a 1.5? That's thinking in action. Anyhow, DT4 is a complete joke at this point. Not a complete joke, but watch a team that runs through it, gets a couple items early on, has no need to explore, and you will see that map completed in record time. And it's not a whole lot of fun to play as Infected for either side. I mean, it's very similar to BH3 in terms of that if you get dead stopped on that map, it's the exception to the rule. It's very commonplace, even with quote-unquote good spots and pull-downs and etc. The problem with those spots is they're all well-known, so of course people are going to expect them. But there's really nothing you can do to stop a determined, well-performing team from steamrolling through that map and getting a great big bonus for it. It's not so bad as BH3 is in terms of pills. 3-4 sets of pills in the pipe room, walk outside, 2 or 3 pills on the way to campsite at campsite, 2 or 3 more inside the building, 4 guaranteed in the med kit. It's nowhere near that level of redonkulosity. Yes, that's a new word. But it's still pretty bad. And speaking of death toll, the one thing I have to bring up, which I'm probably cutting off one of your questions here, but obviously is the finale. The finale is obscene. I remember making another post on the Steam forums a while back, and once again generating a whole bunch of people that wanted to come to my house and stab me with blunt objects. But this post was about the randomness of finales and how it just really isn't fair. And the puppies seem to look at it this way.
Well, when they get to the very end and they've got all 4 people and a 197 health bonus because my mouse doesn't have a left button, I can still get the tank and run up there and bat them all off and we win.
No, you see, that's not a whole lot of fun, because when my team plays and gets that 197, 198, 205, whatever health bonus, because we're good like that, and then we're sitting there waiting on the boat, smoker spawns in the water, try to deal with it, hope you shoot him at the tongue in time. Okay, hunters pouncing in both sides if they're smart. Okay, get one, hopefully both. Okay, even if we've played perfectly, near perfectly up until that point, a tank is still going to walk right out on the dock, right through the molly that we saved just for the purpose of lighting him. And even if we light him up with all our bullets from our little pew-pews the whole way up, the most we're going to do is half his life in damage. And he's going to waltz up and start baseballing people right off the side. And it's completely ridiculous that that even has the potential to happen. I'll compare it to No Mercy. How often do you see the tank in play on No Mercy Finale? The very final tank when they're jumping into the Hopticlipter. You don't see it a whole lot. Not very often. Once in a blue moon. Generally, if people are bad, take forever, get separated, and are stupid and have Down syndrome, that tank will be in play. Blood Harvest 5, on the other hand, you can have a perfectly played game, and if one guy gets smoked, pounced, delayed, hoarded, etc., and your team is the one that gets the lump of coal and no pipes, mollies, etc., yeah, that tank is going to get in that APC, and he's going to hit 2 or 3 of you at a time, and you're all going to die until that one little guy who got stuck outside either goes down or gets in. Either way, you're probably going to lose 2, 3, maybe all 4 people, no matter how well you played the game up until that point. And I think it's random and completely ridiculous. Why can the No Mercy 5 finale be on the balanced end of the spectrum, while the other 2 are on the reward terribles even if they've played a terrible game spectrum? The one thing that makes it worse is if you're good team versus good team, you can bet they're going to take full advantage of whatever the game gives them. And if the game gives them the ability to ruffle stomp you 5 seconds before the end of the level, you can bet your ass they're going to take it. And that just lost you the finale. And in these top-level games, a lot of games come down to the finale based on the way the scoring system is in its current implementation. So when that possible 2,400-point game just got knocked down to 7 or 0 because their tank spawned on your balls, it's pretty frustrating. It makes the whole hour and a half you just spent scrimming feel like an absolute waste of your time.
At least on Blood Harvest 5, though, you have the chance of incapping them with, like, your log and 3 hay barrel combination. You can at least do that as your last resort on, like, your second tank. But there's nothing even like that in the Death Toll finale. Like, you don't get any objects you can hit them with. I mean, survivors will just run out to the back of the lake or whatever that is and just snipe rocks and dodge them quite easily. And, like, Scuba Boomer, he's my favorite, but he never gets in. He never gets in. Care to elaborate on the structure of Death Toll finale and like the ability of those 2 tanks to incap?
I'm sorry, I am tremendously ADD and I can't get the mental image of Scuba Boomer out of my head. What's even worse is now I picture Adam Sandler out of Big Daddy instead of Scuba Steve. Now he's got Scuba Boomer. Anyway, moving on. Yes, that finale is completely ridiculous, and pretty much they have so many choices of where and how they can play it. And my team has even adopted a new, more invigorating method of playing it. We call it running laps. It's about the only thing we can do to keep ourselves entertained during that finale, because, as you stated, there literally is very little that even the greatest infected teams can do to try to overcome the design of that map. I mean, intelligent survivors are going to play in intelligent places, and the best places on that map afford next to nothing for the infected to capitalize. But, again, it boils down to a matter of balance. Adding the very end as ridiculous difficulty status is not the right answer to solving the first 99% of that map being a cakewalk. It's just not the answer, no matter how you look at it. They need to find a comfortable medium.
I imagine when the SDK comes out, it'll fix the nerfing of Death Toll 4, the absurd cakewalk of the Death Toll finale, and point difficulty modifiers such as on Blood Harvest 1 and Blood Harvest 4.
I think the SDK is massively going to redefine this game. Just as one change in Civo config had every competitive team changing up everything about themselves, SDK is going to reinvent the game all over again. I approve of your usage of the word when, and not if, it comes out. And the one other change I'd like to mention that I really do hope to see with it is some kind of change to the tank spawning mechanics, because it's pretty ridiculous to have your tank spawn on fire.
Or spawning within Molotov range before you even get to have control of
Exactly.
the tank.
Any decent team is going to know any given tank spawn location. And of course there's music cues, there's captions, and there's plain old common sense. If you hear something going, you know you've got that 3 to 5 second window before the player actually gets a hold of it and gets his bearings. And especially if you're the team playing Survivor Second, you know exactly where he is. If you've been playing for any amount of time, you know exactly where you need to throw that molly. And it's just pretty ridiculous, and it trivializes the single most game-changing event on any given map, which is, of course, the tank.
As this question is usually asked, I shall ask it as well. What is your most Roff, oh my god, I'm dying of laughter moment, whether it be in a pub, a scrim, or a match?
Well, that would have to be when I go into games and I play like Marvin the Martian. Oh my gosh, they're hell on me.
Now, the funniest thing I've ever seen is generally any time that a tank goes to hit somebody and that person gets pounced at the same time. Holy crap. They go flying Air Jordan status clear across the map. If I had to pick one event, though, it would definitely be playing pubs with my friend Hydro. Once upon a time, Hydro entered a pub, and there was this kid. His name was Caboose. Caboose wasn't a very good Left 4 Dead player, and Hydro decided he wanted to get in touch with his inner drill sergeant. So the bulk of the game went about like this. Caboose, you are so bad at this game, son. You are so awful. As soon as we're done here, you need to go and uninstall your game right now. Never, ever, ever play this game ever again. But here's the fun part. You see, Caboose never left. Not only did Caboose never leave, but he came to idolize Hydro, look up to him, and just listen to everything he said. Caboose, I'm smoked, I'm freaking smoked, Caboose, get that smoke. And Caboose, no matter what he's doing, what's beating on him, Caboose was a trooper, man. He ran over and cleared that Hydro. And then on the finale, risking DA5 finale and crates and carts and everything flying every which way. Oh my gooses! Hydro got shot to 39 HP. Caboose, bring me your flippin' bandages! I demand your bandages now! So Caboose stops everything he's doing, runs out into the middle of the runway, and like a trooper, like a real trooper, Caboose, of course, heals Hydro. And together, they go down to the same luggage cart. Together forever. That would have to be the most I have ever laughed in a game of Left 4 Dead. Yeah, pretty much the entire game went that way.
Do you have any concluding remarks to new players out there? Any shout-outs? Anything you'd like to say to Steam or Valve?
Yeah, man, definitely. Let's see, to the new teams out there, I would just have to say, make sure that no matter what happens, don't let yourselves get discouraged. I know it's frustrating, I know it's difficult. How do I know that? Because I've been there. every single team that you're going to play against has been there. Just keep it up. It's one of those practice makes perfect kind of things. So far as shoutouts go, first and foremost to my team, for sure. You guys have stuck with me through all my ranting, raving, crazy ideas, melee rotations, this, that, the other thing. And I know it's been a rocky road, but damn it, I love you guys, and there is nobody I would rather be playing this game with, except maybe Jenna Jameson, but I don't see that lasting. She probably wouldn't be very good. As far as everyone else goes, wow. I could get started, but we don't want to be here for the next hour and a half, so let's put it this way. If you're on my friends list and send messages and actually get a response back, I think pretty highly of you. Thank you for being a part of my gaming life. And obviously, Jordan, thank you guys so much for this interview. I love Left 4 Dead Now, love watching the website, and I can't wait to see you do amazing things with it. Thank you guys for everything you do for the community. So take it easy and yay, kitty ducky!
This has been Jordan from L4DNAO.com and my interview with Xanath from Reason Gaming. I'd also like to thank Aaron for editing this podcast and coming up with the groovy ambience that you all heard.